Globalization has made genetically engineered food more problematic because of harming the environment, health issues, and economic concerns, as shown through AquaBounty's products.
There are many human health concerns that are caused by genetically modified food. Humans in both the US and parts of Europe have developed severe allergies to peanuts and other foods, and it is predicted that if new genes are put into the plants, it could cause a new allergen for humans. This shows how globalization makes the effects of genetically modified food worse because of how it spreads food to other places quickly, spreading the effects. If food that carries a new allergy is spread quickly, it will have a very negative effect on human health.
Genetically modified foods can also create unexpected effects on human health. A test was done on rats to see how their intestines would react to genetically modified potatoes. After the test, there were notable differences between the intestines of the rats with the modified potatoes and the rats with the regular potatoes. These rats were found to have smaller organs such as hearts, livers, and brains. Even though the test showed the effects on rats from GM foods, critics continue to believe that the modified foods are safe for humans to eat. However, the problems the rats had could potentially happen to humans too. Globalization is making this worse because of governments approving these foods to be sold around the world. Today, there are little regulations on GM foods, like AquaBounty's fish, which is nearing FDA approval. This could have a very bad effect on human health. If people do not know what has been put into the food they eat, it could result in very serious problems for the health of people, such as allergy problems and diseases. Globalization has made this effect problematic because people around the world are seeing the effects of GM food that has been changed. People are becoming sick because of how the food has changed.
GM foods can cause harm to other organisms in nature. Although this harm is unintended, it still happens because of genetically modified food. For example, GM corn gives off a different pollen than regularly grown corn. When monarch butterflies consume this different pollen, it causes many of the caterpillars to die. If butterflies and caterpillars continue to die, it will have a huge negative effect on the environment, which is caused by GM foods. GM foods can also cause pesticides to become ineffective. Some crops are modified to produce their own pesticides to keep insects that could harm the plants away. However, over time, insects begin to become immune to these pesticides. This means that the insects will eventually start to harm the crops even if they have pesticides. This could cause a negative effect on the production of crops in many places around the world. Genetically modified foods can hurt the environment very much and could have a very bad long-term effect on the world. There are many negative effects of the AquaBounty salmon from AquaBounty. If these salmon were to escape their farms, they could harm the wild fish populations. This could have a long-term effect on nature because these larger salmon could make finding food harder for the animals that eat salmon, such as bears. If the salmon spread around the world, it could harm the environment in many places.
Genetically modified foods have lessened the profits of people worldwide. Big-time GMO companies have begun putting patents on their products. Sometimes they put patents on their seeds. This allows big companies to have large sums of money, leaving other smaller farmers and farmers from third world countries with less. This is because the patents raise the price of the seed. With less farmers able to make a sustainable profit, the gap between the poor and the rich may get larger. This would further weaken the economies of third world countries. Globalization has made this worse because worldwide people are dependent on these seeds. Another economic problem is for big farmers. These farmers bought genetically modified seeds and their profits decreased. The loss ranged from 2 cents per acre to as much as $28.28 per acre. The problem has been created by the sellers of GM seeds. They have increased the prices of the crop, making the seed price outweigh the profit from the crops. Corn is one of these crops that is being affected, and therefore the U.S. corn market is being eradicated. Globalization has made this worse because the world has become relatively dependent on the U.S. corn supply. Genetically modified fish also cause economic issues. Alaska's $500 million wild fisheries have been impacted by AquaBounty's technology. AquaBounty makes so much profit that Alaskan fisheries make very little profit. Alaskan State Representative Jaron Tarsh said, quote, "In the early 90s, when farm salmon really took off, our wild salmon industry took a big hit, and prices dropped significantly and really threatened the livelihood of folks." End quote. Therefore, if AquaBounty continues to make huge profit, fisheries may be left empty-handed. Globalization has made this worse because of the high demand for this food.